how did like specifically were you like some kind of a personal like turmoil, like lost in between and trying to, and then you just grabbed, I don't know, some kind of musical instrument and started to do those things, or was like the music, it seems from what you're saying, played a massive role
Yeah, I think
into.
it all started in my head,
Okay.
basically,
Okay.
because there's a lot of like what I like about the project. It's all the different layers of loops, guitar loops, and that's something that takes part. It's the undertone of my music in general. This is really what I like. It's part of all my musical influences as well. It's like uh, I like to see it as like classical music made by, you know, mad people
So you
hearing
listen to that kind of music.
hearing like noises all the time and suddenly like being able to kind of divide that in
Yeah,
different
yeah, yeah.
layers and
There you
say,
go.
yeah, that's it, just like here I am. And so, but it's part of something that is so complex and massive and wide in terms of like arrangements and different sounds and lyrics and everything. It's a very the depth of it. It's very deep
Hmm.
and profound. So I was just like trying to extract that. We tried because I was like only at the stage of whispering. So with Ben in the studio, Ben was very supportive in that matter because for him it was like, okay, so do you want to whisper some, like to do some spoken words on the music and just have a sense of what's going on, what you're going through, and because it's so personal, but at the same time, it was part of the global project, which is Voyage à la Mer, which includes Kimio, a measure, and also the movie coming up.
Hmm.
So, so we started to do things a little bit, and so that was the motion where I had Ben was building my self confidence to,
Okay.
to
Amazing.
slowly get
Amazing.
into it. But as much as it was great to do so, for me, I wasn't there. And I felt that it was still a little bit too fast for me because then I wasn't able to pronounce some of the words. I wasn't able to really have the rhythm of like the sentence, and I was kind of losing the perspective of what I was saying at some point. So I was only like the focus was about the proper tone,
Yeah.
about the proper rhythm. So everything was like the real meaning of what I wanted to express was completely secondary because I was so focused on the what I call like the academic of like you need to perform something, and then it was becoming art performances rather than okay, just this is the moment, this is what's going on. So we kind of took a step back, and I went back to it later because some of those parts will be involved in the movie as well.
Okay.
But it came later on, and with like longer songs and different different arrangements with me whispering when I had like okay when I was able to actually talk without or express, should I say, those feelings without having to realize that I'm completely lost in the words and just like, okay, well, where am I?
Hmm.
Sometimes it was like at the beginning, it was like after two words, I was like, I'm completely confused,
Of course.
crying, just like feeling like I'm completely, being depraved of everything I thought was defining me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's later on that I realized that it was those elements were part of me, but they weren't defining me. That's part of the process. But at that moment with Ben, so what was more important was to capture the the fundamentals
Sure.
rather than trying to add to it. As much as I like to do like spoken words and to kind of provide emotions on songs, and it gives a bit of the direction to where we're going or where I'm inviting people to go.
Yeah.
So, but with this project, with a measure, there was it. The thing wasn't about going anywhere. It was about being there and reflecting, having a moment of serenity, maybe, or peace, even. But it was about taking a moment just to kind of breathe in, and the music was becoming the mantra. It wasn't the words.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
the music and what we were, what I was reflecting and what I was inviting, what I'm inviting people now to do for their own lives. And I know that some people were a bit like puzzled by the first few songs they heard because they were they weren't expecting that because again because it's such like an intense. Usually, what I'm creating it's so like wide and so complex and the development of it is just like
Sure. So much layers and
yes. So, but then after the second track, they were like, okay, they got to they understood not where I was coming from, but they were able also to let go in the music. And then even with the videos and everything, I didn't want to give all the clues. I just wanted to say, well, this is a reflective album, and this is an introspective reflection of this is a reflection of my introspection, and this is the canvas I'm offering for everybody to define what they want. So that was a bit of like the direction I was in, rather than just like trying to control everything. Anyway, I wasn't able to. Even if Ben tried to facilitate everything to go in a direction where I usually go, or like turning like everybody crazy because I want to go there. So suddenly it wasn't about that at all. It wasn't about that anymore.
Amazing.
So